This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans. 1979-82 Fall League Game of the Week. Oh, we got a special one today, folks. We got a game between the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays, coming to you from the Great White North in Canada. The Orioles, great timeline for them. 1979, they win 102 games, go to World Series. 1980, of course, to win 100 games, don't even go to the playoffs. 82, they had statistically a better year though when they win the World Series in 83. Toronto, on the other hand, came into existence in 77 and has struggled for 3 or 4 years. They had the first pick in the draft this year, so they made a splash move. They acquired Rod Carew, leaving the Twins, not making it to the Angels. The Toronto Blue Jays stepped in and snapped him up. And that's good news for the Twins, because it means that their Hall of Famer doesn't go to a division or a rival. So it was a great move for Toronto to acquire some older veteran talent, waiting for the young kids to arrive. And by the way, those young kids really aren't going to get there until, what, 83, 84, 85. You know, guys like Tony Fernandez, George Taco Bell, Jesse Barfield, Ernie Witt, you know, Lloyd Mosby, though he's here in a lousy card. Orioles, Blue Jays. We got a game one. Just want to give you game one of the series, because I don't know how long this is going to go, as Toronto's not playing very well this year. Baltimore's in first. We can take a look at that. Let's take a look at the stats here in the American League East. Presently, there you go. The Orioles are in first, a game ahead of the Yankees. Blue Jays have nosed out the Red Sox for third place, though you would think the Red Sox should pass them. The Red Sox are loaded. I don't know why. This has been a bad year for the Red Sox in both the summer and the fall leagues. Any event, we have Orioles Blue Jays today from Ontario, Canada. Today's pitchers for the Orioles, it is Jim Palmer. And Jimbo, 15-5. Incredibly, in 1982, he's probably 400 years old, in 227 innings with a 3.13 ERA. Really a career resurgence after 3 mediocre years prior to that. And for the Blue Jays, the hope of the organization, a guy who has a 63-part YouTube series devoted to him, Dave Stieb. Dave Stieb, using a converted 1980 card, reprint card, 12-15, 3.70 ERA in 243 innings. Jim Palmer, Dave Stieb. Let's get started. Open this series up in Toronto. Leading off for the Orioles is Al Bunbury. 56, skies to right. John Lowenstein, 53, bounces to first. And batting third, Ken Singleton, 5'10". Everything off the Stieb card is catcher's X. They have Rick Cerrone catching still. They held on to him with his Yankee card with a -4 arm. Well, making some smart decisions are the Blue Jays. 3 up and 3 down. And here is Rod Carew, surprising everybody in Canada with his presence, leading off for the Blue Jays. 68 off Palmer's a pop-out. Larry Heisel, another nice little acquisition late in his career, his final year, 39 is a walk. Tom Poquette, 1-4, center. And with 2 outs, it is Otto Velez, who had some big years with Toronto. Probably the first big bopper they ever had, home run-wise. 2-9, grounds to short. Velez and, you know, Roy Howe and Damaso Garcia, and Alfredo Griffin, you know, a lot of these guys, Jerry Garvin, they're not going to, Jim Clancy, they're probably not going to be around by the time Toronto wins the American League East in 85. Top of the second, it's Pat Kelly. 69. Triple 1 to 4 double. It's a 2-base hit. The Ripken kid. Cal Ripken bounces the short. Eddie, Eat, Drink, MB Murray rolls to first. Runner at third, 2 outs for Joe Nolan. 2-8, double 108 is a base hit, and the Orioles are on the board. Len Sakata. 210, flies to left. Bottom of 2, it is Roy Howell, the third baseman. 57's a K. Rick Cerrone, 1-3, bounce to short. And Lloyd Mosby in center field, 5'11", walks. B. Steeler. Nolan's got a weak arm, he's going to try stolen base, and he's in there, and we probably have a T rating. T1 a 4, we get a 4. So, Nolan sails that one into the artificial turf in center field. Exhibition Stadium rated as the worst Major League Baseball stadium in history. Congratulations, Toronto, dominating in one area. A list of, 65 Major League Baseball stadiums in history was voted on as the absolute worst. So, matter of fact, the Orioles forfeited a game once in Toronto when it started to rain, and they had a tarp covering up the bullpen, which was in foul territory, and they had rocks. They placed a bunch of rocks on the tarp to hold it down from flapping away. And Earl Weaver said, get that off of here or I'm pulling my guys off the field. And he forfeited that game. And the Orioles ended up missing the playoffs by just 2 games in 1977 because of that. So interesting story there. Where am I? I have no idea what's happening in this game now suddenly. Oh yeah, Damaso Garcia's up. Runner at third, 2 outs, and Damaso bounces to second base. This is Rich Dower. Show us your power, show us your glove. 2E8, second baseman, makes the play. Okay. We go to the third. It is Rich Dower power. 5'10", catcher's X. This is Cerrone. Again, a 1 catcher, so yeah. Al Bumbry. I mean, did it really make any sense, folks, for a really bad Toronto team who had Rick Cerrone from 77, 8, 9, for him suddenly to become a -4 arm catcher in 1980 and then just give him to the Yankees? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Particularly after 1980, this guy kind of turns into a pumpkin. Has a couple nice years with a stick with the Red Sox in the late 80s, but yeah. All right, Al Bumbry, 1-5. Let's take a look at Al Bumbry's card. 1-5, homer, 1-3, double the rest. He misses the homer, gets the double, but Al Bumbry, man, led the club in hitting in 1980 with a .318 card, leadoff hitter. Lost out on the Gold Glove to Gorman Thomas. That is a base hit. Excuse me, that is a double for Al Bumbry. John Lowenstein, 39 is a K. And Kenny Singleton, 1-5. That is gone. Ken Singleton, 1-5, 2-run blast, 3-0 Birds. Orange ones. Pat Kelly, 4-10, center C. Bottom of the third, it is Alfredo Griffin, 46, base hit off of Palmer. First hit off of him. B. Steeler. Steeler went pretty well last time up, but now you're down 3. Let's see what happens a little bit. Let's see what Carew can do here. Rod Carew, 210 is a 1-6-3 double play. Well, that was not the right move, obviously. Larry Heisel, 211, another ground ball, A. Top of the fourth, it is Cal Ripken, Iron Man, 4-4, pop to first. Got his rookie card in the league, which means he has played about 23 games in a row, folks. 23 games. Consecutive game streak going right here. Cal Ripken. Eddie Murray. 58, base hit. Joe Nolan, 2-5, fielder's choice. And with 2 outs, it's Sakata. Sakata, 68, pops to short. Bottom of the fourth. Tom Poquette, 68, pops to second. Otto Velez, 58, flies to right. And Roy Howell, 410. Center X, it's Bumbry, 2E5. Makes the grab. Top of the fifth. Rich Dower, 69. Base hit off Steve. Al Bumbry, 57, is a liner to second. Lowenstein, 47 is a K. And with 2 outs, it is Singleton. 2-12, bounce back to the mound. 3-0 lead for the Orioles, bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Bottom of the 5th, it is Rick Cerrone. 2-6, pops the 3rd. Lloyd Moseby, 69, flies to left. And Damaso Garca, 47, single 111, base hit. Double A stealer, he's taken off. And he's in there. Runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Alfredo Griffin, his double play partner. 34, pops to first. You know, you thought you had your Trammell Whitaker pairing for the whole decade, you know? Garcia and Griffin. But little did they know that some kid named Tony Fernandez would soon be arriving to play short, displacing Griffin, and actually Damaso Garcia gets displaced fairly soon as well. It seemed early on that these guys would be there forever in Toronto. It didn't really work out that way. Top of the 6th inning. It is Pat Kelly. 32, pitcher. Cal Ripken, 2-7's a base hit. Eddie, eat, drink, and be merry, 4-9 walks. 2 on, 1 out for Joe Nolan, who has an RBI single in this game. 2-10, let's take a look at the card. One of those kooky looking 1980 cards where he hit 307, but they gave him the wrong template. This would reflect what I call the 8 card, the 8th best hitter on the team. He certainly wasn't the 8th best hitter as a 307 hitter. He may have even led the Reds in hitting that year in 1980. Let's see. So if that's the case, then the 3-5 card, the 7 template, would have led. And no, I don't. Yeah, I think Nolan led this team in hitting. Anyway, 2-10 after all that is a single to right field. Ripken, who was at second. The young kid's got wheels, 13. Poquet's got a -1 arm. And let's see what happens in this inning. They're going to leave him loaded for Len Sakata. 63, bouncer to short. This is Griffin, a 2E40 at short. And that is a ground ball C on his range. No double play, but at least he doesn't make an error. When we get an out, it's 4-0. And Rich Dower. 65, flies a center. So, you know, Dave Steve's making lemonade today with what he's had. 4 runs through 6 frames. Bottom of the 6th, it is Rod Carew. 38, flies to right. Larry Heisel. 47, single 111, he gets it. Tom Poquet, 3-6, single dot. 2 on suddenly for Otto Velez. Let's take a look at this guy. Otto Velez, 79 card, probably the shiniest, best card a Blue Jay would have in those early years. This guy can crush home runs. Really beats up on right-handed pitching too. Had 15 and just 274 at bats and a 288 average. That's an impressive power display in 79 against righties for Otto. Big moment here for him with 2 on. Here's the pitch. 110 is a base hit to left field. Heisel's got wheels. 16 will run against the Lowenstein arm and score. And Poquet, oh, it does not go to third on the throw. First and second, 1 out. 4-1 game now. Tying run is Roy Howe. 2-11, skies a center. Now, if Poquet would have gone to third, it would have tagged up, but it didn't happen. And you got Rick Cerrone. Let's take a look at this guy. Here he is, Rick Cerrone, stroke of genius for the Yankees after the passing of Munson. And Cerrone had done very little in Toronto prior to that as well. They went out and got this guy. He turns into a 1 catcher from a 4. He goes from a 0-arm catcher to a -4-arm catcher. And he hits 14 home runs and 277 in 1980. And the Yankees won 103 games, would lose out to George Brett in the championship series. But what a great year for Cerrone. And Toronto, boy, they really need him for this year and next year before he turns into a pumpkin. Here's the pitch. 38, single on a 4. He lines out on a 17. Okay. 7th inning, 4-1. It is Al Bunbury. 67, base hit. Double A stealer. -4-arm catcher, like I said. Not going to steal. John Lowenstein. 2-3, first B. B stealer at first base now. Not going to steal. Ken Singleton. 65 is a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's Pat Kelly. 66, double 1 to 6 is a base hit. Runners in the corners, 2 outs. Steve is a starter. 8, he'll stick around. Cal Ripken. 1-8, let's take a look at the kid. This Cal Ripken kid, he is actually playing third base this year as we managed to get Belanger to stick around as Ripken arrives. So that means that for 1 year he'll play third. Then next year Belanger most likely will retire and Ripken will move over to short is how they're going to do it. Didn't happen that way. Ripken played a month at third base and they moved to shortstop for the rest of his career there. Or most of it. 1-8, triple 1-4 double. That is a 2-base hit for Ripken. That will score 1. Pat Kelly trying to score from first on a double. 1-15, 17. Mosby arm is 0, but he's thrown out on a 19 anyway. Great throw by Lloyd Mosby, minimizing the damage to just a run as the speedy Pat Kelly somehow stumbled on a rock or a piece of turf or the tarpaulin or something on the field there and got thrown out the plate. 5-1. Stretch time here in Toronto. We, of course, are enjoying the great Permanent Waves LP by Rush. 1980, right in the middle of the timeline. Geddy Lee, a big fan of the Blue Jays, watching his team develop in this era with a big, much different roster than in that Summer League we just played, of course. But anyway, yeah, great Rush album, one of their best. Different Strings, Free Will, Spirit of Radio. Great stuff by the boys up north in the Great White North. Bottom of the 7th, they needed a rally against Jim Palmer. They're down 5-1. They did pretty well in the 6th inning, and they want to continue that here with Lloyd Mosby. 3-10, flies right. Damaso Garcia, 37, bounced to short. And with 2 outs, it's Alfredo Griffin, 36. Homer 1-4, fly ball the rest. And it is the rest. Okay. 8th inning of a 5-1 game. And have we had enough of Dave Steve at this point here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, he'll have better success later in this decade. So yeah, he'll come out. He's had enough. We're gonna go to oh boy, let's see. Let's go to Mike Barlow here in the 8th inning. Mike Barlow in 1980, another one of those kooky 1980 reprint cards. 3-1, 4.09 ERA, 55 innings for your Blue Jays in 1980. Mike Barlow comes on in the 8th. A 5-1 game to face Eddie Murray. 4-11, first C. Joe Nolan having a day, 2 for 3, 39, bounces to first. He'll leave the game, by the way, and Rick Dempsey will take over. Good defensive catcher. And with 2 outs, it is Sakata. 4-11. Flies it into right field. This is Poquette, 2-16 in right field. He can get to it when he gets there. He makes the catch this time. Sakata leaves the game. Mark Belanger takes over at shortstop. Baltimore's predictably fantastic defense is all set now. As we go to the bottom of the 8th with Jim Palmer needing 6 more outs. Back up top, Rod Carew. Let's take a look at the card. So here we go, folks. This was your first pick in the draft. It is Rod Carew, and it is his first year in California where he hit 331. Deliver the goods, but it was a bad year for the Angels in 80. They had all sorts of injuries. Brian Downing, Frank Tanana. Didn't have Nolan Ryan anymore, I don't think. But Carew had a great year, and so the Twins sent him to Toronto instead of California. California's going to continue with Ron Jackson playing first base. Another former Twin first baseman, so there's that symmetry there. Anyway, here is the pitch to Rod Carew. 43, bounces to first. This is Murray, a 1-10 first baseman. Makes the play. Larry Eisel, 1-3, flies to right. And with 2 outs, it is Tom Poquette. 3-12, pops to third. We go to the ninth, and we'll let Barlow throw another one. Rich Dower, 310, bounces to short. Al Bunbury, 410, homer 1-9, double, 2-base hit. Lowenstein, 66, skies the center, and with 2 outs, it is Kenny Singleton. 67 is a single to right field. Bunbury will run. 17, 18, 19 against the -1 homer Poquette. And he's thrown out on a 20. So these Orioles are stumbling, bumbling, rumbling around the bases, tripping on rocks and I don't know if they're slipping on. Something that Earl Weaver's furious about. 2 guys thrown out on the bases in the last 3 frames. Keeps this within a grand slam. It's 5-1, folks. Orioles were, this was a wrap. But bad base running. We got a ball game, 5-1. And in the ninth, you know what? They're going to pull Palmer. He could go for the complete game here, but you know what? He's getting old. We got Tippy Martinez. Let's bring in Tippy. Great closer. Tippy Martinez, 10-3, 2.88 ERA in 1979. Actually, he's better against righties than lefties. And that seems to work against Otto Velez. You saw his card earlier, and he's better against righties. So in the ninth, Tippy Martinez with a 4-run lead. Here we go. Otto Velez. 66 is single 1-16. He gets a base hit. Roy Howell hits lefties okay. He will continue. 38 is a strikeout. Rick Cerrone. 2-11, flies to right, and with 2 outs, it's Mosby. Let's take a look at him. We're right at the end of the game. Here's Lloyd Mosby. Just wanted to get, some of these more traditional Blue Jays on this roster, though it doesn't really look very good for Lloyd here in 82. He struggled with a 236 batting average in 500 plate appearances with 106 strikeouts. Hits lefties better than righties, does have extra base hits, had 9 triples, 9 homers. Decent defender, would become a Gold Glove defender at a certain point. And here is the pitch to Lloyd Mosby. 65 off of Tippy Martinez is double 1-3, single ... Runners are on the corners. For Damaso Garcia, let's show you him. Another Blue Jay who started like a house on fire in 80, 81, 82, and then a couple more years. Then who played second base for them in 85? That's a nice little trivia question I'm going to have to look up. I don't think he was there. I think he moved on. We knew Tony Fernandez was at short. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, Damaso Garcia with 2 on and 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Here's the pitch. 6-11 off Tippy. Pitcher X, he's an E18. He's a 2. E18, and he makes a play. No, he doesn't. He kicks the ball. It's an error. And Toronto has more life. Boy, this team, you can't put these Blue Jays away. It must be a repeat of the summer. That's an unearned run. It's 5-2. And lo and behold, Alfredo Griffin becomes the tie run. Let's take a look at Alfredo. 287 hitter in 79. A 2E38 this year. Next year I'll be a 2E40. Alfredo Griffin, Mr. Ty Run, he'll swing away here. You could pinch hit for him with Greg Luzinski. Oh, let's just do that, shall we? Let's do that. Let's bring in Greg Luzinski to pinch hit here in a 5-2 game with 2 men on. Let's take a look at him. Luzinski had moved on from the Phillies to the White Sox in 1981. 21 homers in the strike year with a 265 average. Plenty of power. So here we go, a chance to tie this thing up. Greg Luzinski against Tippy Martinez with 2 on and 2 outs in a 5-2 game. Here is the pitch. 48 off of Tippy. It's a liner to first base. And there we go. The Toronto does not go quietly into the night. They lose 5-2 with a tie run at the plate. Nice little game from the friendly Blue Jays up north. Palmer gets the win. Steve takes a loss. Let's do the box here and a wrap. Look at some stats. Barlow went 2 innings, actually. Gave up 2 hits. Guy gets thrown out the plate. Steve takes the loss. Steve up 11 hits and 5 runs. They were all earned. Had a gift guy thrown out at the plate. Steve Martinez kind of struggled the ninth, giving up an unearned run with 2 hits and a K. And Palmer, 5 hits and just 1 run in that 6th inning. Walked 2, struck out a batter. 1019-0109. 513-27. 513-27. 1322. 2213. Game 1. Baltimore, Toronto. Baltor, and the Snow Dog. Baltimore, Toronto. There you go. The Orange Birds defeated the Blue Ones today. The Stellar Jays, the Pine Jays in this era. Yeah. So, Baltimore, I tell you, man, this is a great. This carryover league series really rewards Baltimore in their heyday, from the 1966 World Series to the 1983 World Series. And again, the timeline of cards I play is from 69 to 84, so I'm right in that window where the Orioles are pretty much going to be good every year, or most of the time. Toronto's now 9-13. They're hitting .251. They got a .406 ERA. Steve's 2-5. Jim Clancy's 4-1. That's good news. Tom Niedenfuhr and Jerry Garvin are splitting duties in the bullpen. That's pretty good. You got 5 home runs by Luzinski, who started that game on the bench against Palmer. Luzinski's got 5 homers in 22 games. Rod Carew, you're probably wondering, well, he had a bad day today, but otherwise he's doing pretty well up north. The Panamanian, right? From Panama? The man from Panama? Panamanian, maybe? Something like that. He's hitting 330. His card is 331. It's hard to complain about that. 30 for 91 for Rod Carew. Now for Baltimore, they're 15-9 now. Tibby, 7 saves. All the pitchers doing well with winning records. McGregor's 3-0 with the least amount of work. Palmer just has 1 complete game, 5-2 record. No, he's 4-2. Flanagan's 5-2. You got Kenny Singleton with 8 homer and 26 RBI. He's your team MVP, Ken Singleton, with his 79 card. He's 23 for 92, though, which isn't that fantastic. The Birds are hitting .236 with a .255 team ERA. We've seen this. If you've been watching the Fall League last few years, Orioles won a World Series, missed the playoffs altogether one other time. The one constant, for some bizarre reason, they're hitting .230, .236, .240, and none of the players on their team hit below .250 on their strat cards. I have no idea how they can consistently hit so terribly. The leading hitter might be Al Bumbry. 318 hitting Al Bumbry. So what is the leading hitter hitting, you're wondering? He's hitting 255. Not bad. 255, leading the club. Has 11 stolen bases. So that's game 1. We'll give you the results of the series. Game 2 in Toronto will be Doyle Alexander against Dennis Martinez for Baltimore. And then when the series goes to Baltimore, it'll be Scott McGregor in 3, Flanagan in 4. And the Blue Jays will have Baylor Moore in 3, and Jim Clancy in 4. That's it today. We'll give you the results of the series at the end. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time. Well, baseball fans, here's the box score from the game 1 you just saw. The Orioles beating the Blue Jays 5-2 with Jim Palmer getting the victory over Dave Stieb. So, could the Blue Jays get a win for the home fans up in the Great White North in a game 2? Let's go check out what happened. Game 2 in Toronto. It is Dennis Martinez versus Doyle Alexander, former Oriole. Good battle here. Dennis Martinez goes 9 innings in this one. Anyway, early on, a lot of the scoring is done. Baltimore second inning, after a single-double play, you get a single-double and a single by Sakata, 2-0. Bottom half of the inning here, Blue Jays tie the thing up with a Rick Cerone homer, 2-2. And then in the 5th inning, the Orioles, a couple walks, a couple singles, and an RBI. But the Blue Jays respond to the bottom half with an RBI single by Heisel, 3-3. Toe-to-toe, nice little sparring match here. And nothing happens after that through 9 innings. Dennis Martinez gave up 8 hits and the 3 runs, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Alexander went 7 innings, giving up 9 hits and 3 runs. Tom Niedenfuhr, 2 shutout innings. Into the 10th, Jerry Garvin gets out of the 10th inning, just a walk and a caught stealing. But in the bottom half of the 10th, Martinez can go no further. Tim Stoddard comes in. After a single and a couple outs, Otto Velez doubles, putting runners at second and third with Greg Luzinski up. He's got a base open with Roy Howe on deck, but then a bases-loaded walk loses the game as much as a home run does. Doesn't matter. Luzinski hits it on his card. 2 out, 3-run bomb, and your Blue Jays beat the Orioles 6-3 and salvage a split at home in Canada. Can they get a win or two on the road in Baltimore for Game 3? Let's take a look. It is Baylor Moore. Started in the early 70s with the Expos, disappeared with injuries, resurfaced in 79, had a decent year against Scott McGregor. They get to Baylor Moore early, a Len Secada homer. There's an error by Baylor Moore in here. You get a 2-run double by Cal Ripken, a ground out RBI, 4-0. They add a 5th run in the 4th on a Eddie Murray RBI double. You get a Lloyd Mosby RBI. It's 5-1, but in the 6th inning, it all comes unglued. Just Baylor Moore just walks too many batters, and the Orioles will take a pass. If you give them a ball for it, they'll take it. Not a good day to be the Baylor Moore person. 5 2/3 innings, 11 hits, 11 runs, just 6 earned because of errors all over the place. Scotty McGregor gets the win. 6 innings, 7 hits and a run. Baltimore trounces the Blue Jays 11-1 in a battle of lefties in Game 3. So, can the Orioles then finish the Blue Jays in Game 4 and win this best-of-5 series? It'll be Jim Clancy versus Mike Flanagan, who, oh, just by the way, won the Cy Young Award in 1979. Well, in this one, Clancy is a guy who battles, knocks down right-handed batters pretty successfully, but he walks a ton. Bottom of the 3rd inning, you get a walk, a fielder's choice, a single, a sac fly, but Pat Kelly, a 2-run homer for the Orioles with 2 outs, and that hurts. 3-0. The Blue Jays scratch out a run in the 6th after a single, an error by Secada, an RBI single by Roy Howe, 3-1. But in the bottom of the 7th, Jim Clancy, he'll walk a total of 8 guys in this game. In this inning, it is a walk, a fielder's choice, another walk, and then you're facing Pat Kelly again. He's a starter 8. You know, if he's a starter 6 or 7, he's probably hooked. But dude's a starter 8. And frankly, he's one of their best players in this timeline in 1980, Jim Clancy. So we give him a little bit of a leash. Unfortunately, the dog comes back to bite off the leash there. Pat Kelly, another home run. This is a 3-run homer. And frankly, you know what? Clancy only gave up 6 hits in this game, but he gave up 6 runs. And that's the killer. 3-1 game turns into a 6-1 game. It is academic, as I like to say after that. And Baltimore, just very businesslike, very well organized. Finishes off the Blue Jays 3-1. Blue Jays had their moments, but just don't have enough talent to hang in there against the championship club. The Orioles are now 17-10 in the American League, increased their lead to 2 over the Yankees. And the Red Sox and Blue Jays are stumbling again at the bottom. That's it today. Break up the Orioles for beating the Blue Jays 3-1 in the game of the week. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.